Howdy, folks. Welcome to So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Thursday episode. We're doing a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode 3 recap or reenactment. We go usually line by line. So if you're new to the show, it takes a second to warm up to, but we'll get there. And it's silly. We might make some overall points. I think we will. And if you are one of the cast members of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I implore you not to listen or watch. This will not be good for your mental health. Protect your peace. I do know certain cast members have and potentially still listen to this show. Don't. Please don't. I always say this is for us. This is for me and for you, and we can disassociate and talk about the insanity because Salt Lake City brings the insanity. And I think having this show out right now does such a disservice to Real Housewives of Orange County, which the new episode airs tonight. And if you listen to yesterday's episode, oh boy, did I not like the OC this week. And it'll still be a fun recap on Friday. But this is, these ladies, even though they're toxic to each other, it is still the production on this. They're able to work it. So by the moment we get to that last scene with Lisa Barlow's lunch, it really takes off. And I find myself even leaning in and listening a little bit more in scenes like Angie with her dad or Bronwyn with her mom. Those scenes, I'm willing to go there almost emotionally, right? So for me, it's like this really great blend. And when you like a show, when a show is close to firing on all cylinders, even the little moments from the waitress in that final scene there was 2 moments, I don't know if anybody caught, where Bronwyn seemed like she was deeply in love with Dr. Pepper. There's 2, I'll point them out when we get there, but I was like, is Bronwyn going for a Dr. Pepper sponsorship? I don't think anybody's noticed this, but I was like, wow, she really likes Dr. Pepper. But those moments, to me, are so silly. There are a lot of things. DJ Meredith Marks, I'm begging for her to wake up. It's like you really have to poke and prod at Meredith, and then she finally is like, you can leave! But you have to really, sometimes I'm just like, are you getting enough sleep? What's happening? You're really dragging yourself through these scenes sometimes. I'm just like, what is going on in Meredith's internal monologue? Lisa Barlow, when we find out what planet Lisa Barlow is from eventually, I think it's going to actually answer a lot of questions. Because right now, I think a lot of us are assuming she's human. And I think if we just notice and recognize that she's an alien, I think it'll make more sense, right? And I always tell you guys this, but I just want to remind once again, is I love Lisa Barlow. But in saying that, I disagree with everything she says and does. Yes, if you take this as like complete reality, and I'm not saying that it's not mostly reality, you would be very upset because a person this egregious in their life and how they act and the ego on this person, in your normal life, you would potentially find this vapid and disgusting. But on television, these sort of big characters, it makes it so enjoyable to watch for me. But that just means I'm troubled, right? But to me, if you compare Lisa Barlow's big personality to Tamra Judge's big personality, to me, that's apples and oranges. Tamra has this big personality, but rarely do I find it extremely entertaining, right? I just find it toxic. But Lisa Barlow's big personality, whereas I think those other ladies should find it very toxic, I find it very entertaining. But I also find it entertaining because I'm like, oh, if you put somebody like Bronwyn in, they can clear Lisa like Bronwyn cleared her at that party last week. Lisa has no defenses against logic. But Lisa's so fascinating because we all know people like this in our lives, right? We all know people that they will just talk. They will out yell you. They will just be loud. I'm talking about myself right now. No, but you know what I'm saying? And they will go far. But the substance, you're like, wait a sec, you're not really making sense. You're just really into yourself. You just have such a core belief in yourself. But sometimes you're like, what is backing up that core belief? Because your actions, it doesn't make sense. But those people, and I think this is frustrating to a lot of us normies, is those people go really far in life. They go really far. They're all talk. They will shout you down. And Barlow comes off like that. And I think, there is this blend of, we should learn to love ourselves. But I think sometimes it's so dangerous to love yourself as much as Lisa Barlow. And with these shows in particular, you got to be really careful. If you are having legal issues in any way, if you are having financial issues in any way, if you are having relationship issues in any way, if the show is doing what it's supposed to be doing, will suss that out. And if you do not have a good argument, I'm sorry, you can go to FedEx Kinko's and print out poster boards all you want. Just going to make you look like an idiot. It's going to make you look like Carrot Top. You're bringing props? But if you can't actually just answer, it gets more confusing and it makes you look weirder and weirder. And especially on Salt Lake, when you've already had Jen Shah, you've had Reality Von Teese, you had Monica Garcia. I mean, we're already highly suspect of most people on this show. And in fact, it probably doesn't end at Lisa. I'm looking at all these ladies. In fact, I think Bronwyn has some things in her past that's going to come out this season as well. So it's a really interesting character study. Each of these ladies brings something so unique, and I think that's really what we watch these shows for. And when we watch Housewives shows and all the ladies aren't bringing something, it feels off, right? At least it feels off to me. So that's where we start. We're going to get into it. Also, we have Real Housewives of Salt Lake City taglines, but there's a lot of other things going on. I'm not going to get too deep in other pop culture stories because we do this every day and we'll be able to catch up. But I do want to talk about a couple of things. I didn't even get to ask. How are you guys? We're like 7 minutes in. Are you good? Okay. Did you have a hard time sleeping last night, you guys? Because I sure did. I finished up the podcast, which I don't know if you listened to, but we did a BravoCon lineup. Steve Wilkos from the Jerry Springer Show and Steve Wilkos Show, he was on, and I thought that was a fantastic conversation. The day before, we had Samantha Stites from Stalking Samantha on Hulu. That was another great conversation. I thought this has been a really solid week, so thank you if you've listened to all those episodes. But man, I finished up last night. And I wasn't over caffeinated, but I was out of melatonin. And I had melatonin, and then a sponsor, what was our sponsor's name? They had given me these melatonin gummy things that I had taken, and they were working, and I ran out and I forgot to reorder, and then we were out of our normal melatonin. And I didn't realize how dependent on melatonin I am, I guess. Because you guys, I got to bed, and I guess I'm always kind of like, I have a low level of stress 24/7. That's just since I was a little kid. It's not this show, don't worry. And I was just tossing and turning for like I'm not joking, guys, 3 hours. And Rebecca goes to bed now early with the pregnancy and stuff like that. And so I'm just on my phone, and you could say, oh, put the phone down, but my mind doesn't work. I always need constant noise. I can sleep through constant noise. But, and then like 2 hours into it, I started getting stressed because I had a really big day today. And do you ever do that when you can't fall asleep and then you get stressed and it makes you stay up even longer? And I finally fell asleep, I think, after 3. But anyways, I'm going on very little sleep. Had a couple interviews today that went well. I had to cancel my workout with my trainer because I got thrown an interview at the last minute. So I had to go do a hike. Anyways, the whole point, I'm just giving you I showered, you guys. Anyways. Oh, also I told you yesterday, today was my dad's birthday. Had a nice FaceTime call with him. My dad, I made him that sandwich a couple years ago, and it was really hard bread, and it broke his tooth. And now he got like a couple of his teeth, he had them pull him, and he has like this false denture thing. And it must really bother him because he'll answer the phone and he doesn't have his denture piece in there. And I'm just like, who am I talking to? I'm talking to like Bill Bailey 3 teeth. Like, he's just always like, I'm like, put your teeth in. Dad, put your teeth in. But they were going out tonight for his birthday dinner. But he bummed me out this morning because I was texting with him, and I was like, happy birthday. And he was like, no, it's just another day. I'm like, no, Dad, it is not just another. I know you've had a lot of these birthdays, but it is not just another day. Anybody that has a birthday, it is a special day. And if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. So Once again, Bill Bailey, we speak your name. Moving on, we have a new season of Love is Blind. Love is Blind Denver premiered on Netflix today. I watched the first episode, and I'll try to finish the next couple of episodes so we can talk a little bit about it, even though we don't really cover Love is Blind that much. I was talking to somebody last night. I mean, the thesis of this show at this point is just, everything is too much to keep up with. There is so much, just so much. In fact, I watched the first episode of The Golden Bachelor a couple days ago, and I have to watch tonight's episode of The Golden Bachelor because today, when you're listening to this, Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live on Katie Couric Media, I believe. Let's see, it's an Instagram account for Katie Couric's company. We all know and love Katie Couric. But I will be recapping. Katie Couric Media. Go on their Instagram. We'll be going live at that time, and we'll be talking about tonight's episode of The Golden Bachelor. So I look forward to that. Oh, and I have a meeting tomorrow, you guys. And I'll tell you what that is after the meeting. But wish me luck. Put out positive vibes, you guys. Positive vibes for this meeting tomorrow. Okay, enough about me. Tell me more about you. Oh, so today, you guys, we got a trailer for the new season of The Kardashians, season 7 on Hulu. It's going to be premiering October 23rd. I don't know. It's weird. You know, my gut feeling is that we are such in an oversaturation of the Kardashians through the decade and just an overall exhaustion where I feel like they've taken a long time between season 6 and season 7. And I really dipped out on season 6 even a couple of episodes in. And I was watching this trailer and I'll check out the first episode and I'll check out obviously the clips. They inundate social media with all the clips. So you see what, the important parts of these episodes. Are you going to be watching this? But the trailer, I mean, there were interesting parts and, you really just see the extreme wealth, but also just the extreme, not trauma per se, but it is so far from the reality that was established on the first season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians when it was on E! So many years ago. I mean, it is just insane. Like part of the trailer is like, we're saying goodbye to this house. And I'm like, yeah, it's really tough when you say goodbye to mansions. The mansions get sad and then you move on to a bigger mansion and it's like the circle of life in some ways. But this is, they made a big deal on the trailer because Rhob Kardashian actually appears. I always say they always treat Rhob like he's like Bigfoot or something. It's like, ooh, a Rhob Kardashian sighting, in the wilderness. And guess who's back, baby? Yeah, baby, it's me, Caitlyn Jenner, baby. The Kardashians are down on their luck, so they called old Caitlyn to come in. Woo! I got boobies. Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner appears in this season. We see Kendall Jenner say that it's unfair that their dad is not invited to family functions, and Chris relents, and then you see Caitlyn kind of shuffling in, like, it's me, Caitlyn. So that should be interesting. Also, we find out that Kim Kardashian, she says that somebody put a hit out on her life, and it's somebody within their circle. And I'm like, what? Say what? Somebody within their circle. And I'm like, well, my first thought was Kanye, but I don't know. Like, you can't throw out an accusation like that on a reality show and not let us know more about that. So that was interesting. Also, we see behind the scenes footage from Kim's visit to Paris to testify in her trial from the 2016 robbery with all of the diamonds. Also, Kourtney Kardashian Barker says that she's, kind of in a love cocoon with Travis and really, it seems like she's living a very separate life than the rest of her family. Also, Kim is the star of the new Ryan Murphy show, All's Fair, that should be premiering, I think, relatively soon. And then you see like big actors like Glenn Close, Sarah Paulson, Niecy Nash having martinis over at Chris's house. And I'm just like, you guys do what you want, but leave Glenn Close out of this. Please don't make Glenn Close be on the Kardashians. I beg of thee. I mean, it would be like having Jeremy Irons on the Kardashians. I don't want to see. No. Stay away, Glenn. Don't do this. But it'll probably be fun to see her on there. Of course, we have no Timothée Chalamet, even though we do see Kylie Jenner in this preview as well. But yeah, the Kardashians are back. You know what's interesting? This is not in the trailer, but the California State Bar, the results should be coming out, I think, in November, and Kim did take it. So we will know if Kim passed the bar or not, because she finally did take the bar this last time. And those are public records. You can't hide that. So we will find out either way fairly soon if she did pass the bar. So yeah, new season of the Kardashians coming soon. Will you be watching? Okay, this is season 6, episode 3 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This episode is called Dismissed. Dismissed, because Lisa Barlow makes a bunch of poster board Canva things that you get at FedEx, and it says dismissed all over those poster boards. Lisa being the best judge, jury, and executioner of all of her lawsuits. You gotta love it. Now, what I love about this title is just one word: simplicity. Simplicity is king, baby. And this is what the description Peacock gives us. It says, Lisa hosts a luncheon to give the women some clarity on the allegations being spread. So that is the description Peacock gives us. Now, did you notice this on Peacock, you guys? It's kind of it's kind of cool, kind of annoying, is that if you go to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City page on Peacock, it'll have the episode, and then underneath it, it'll have the corresponding Watch What Happens Live with, like, the first episode, you had Angie Katsanevas on, and then after the second episode, you had Bronwyn Newport, and then after last night's episode, you had Lisa Barlow. The thing I don't like about it, though, is that it messes up the episode count. So this is episode 3, but on the Peacock page, it says it's episode 5. And just this last minute of conversation really just shows you how lame and what a nerd I am. Like, truly, like, that's the shit that bothers me. I was like, okay, this is confusing. People are going to get confused. It's episode 3, even though Peacock says it's episode 5. So we start, as we always do, with scenes from the previous 2 episodes that we've seen thus far. So we have Heather Gay going previously on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And Brittany Bateman is kind of coming at Whitney of like, you're one to talk. Your business is getting dragged like crazy right now. And Whitney's like, are you kidding me? And then she let the ladies know on the camping trip, I had a business that failed. I made a bad choice, and I'm cleaning up all the shit from it. But we love that. We love an honest queen. I got to tell you, Whitney has taken a lot of hits over the years, but my God, I mean, come on. At the end of this episode, I think she is crushing it so far this season. And then we had Bronwyn bringing up Lisa Barlow's 5 lawsuits of like, Lisa has had 5 lawsuits that have been filed against her, or Lisa's businesses, or Lisa and her husband. And Bronwyn's telling the ladies, it's everywhere. Have you seen it? And Angie Katsanevas goes, one might say it's similar to what Jen Shah did. And everybody's like, zoinks, you've invoked the name of Voldemort. It's Jen Shah. And Heather Gay is like, what? Heather, you're going to have to pick the right side at some point, because you ain't doing it yet, man. Listen. The enemy is usually easy to see. And I think one would think, oh, Lisa Barlow, she's the enemy because she speaks the loudest and it's easy to poke holes in what she's saying. But I got to tell you, the hidden enemy here is Heather Gay, man. Heather Gay is going through something, man. These past couple of years, even though her look is just drastically changing, I don't know if the inner work is potentially being done. Listen, that might be an unfair assumption, but that's all it is, an assumption. And that's what we do here, folks. But Angie's like, no, it was a bad joke. No, stand in your truth. It doesn't have to be completely criminal where you have to go to jail, but the point is, it's a lie, and it does involve money. And then Lisa Barlow finally coming at Bronwyn at the end of last week's episode of like, she thinks she's a lawyer now. She didn't even go to college. And Bronwyn's like, you should go to work and pay those fucking lawsuits off, Lisa. She is disgusting. Gout dick sucker. Give her the Emmy right now. Gout dick sucker. Still, it has stayed with me all week. I've called many people a gout dick sucker in my life this week. It has added so much to my life, right? Gout dick sucker. Gout dick sucker. And that's hard, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can argue with Lisa and you can make all the points in the world, but Lisa has this Teresa Giudice energy about her where it doesn't fully click and she's not able to come back with any sort of response that makes sense or to defend herself. All she can do is kind of revert to names like gout dig sucker and like, you're a pig. You know, it's like, okay, but could you respond to the accusations? But Brownwood's like, I'm a dick sucker now. Gout dick sucker, I said. And Mary's like, this is getting nasty real quick. And that is where we left it. Now, folks, it's like Christmas. We have new Housewives taglines. It only took us 3 episodes to get them. And Heather's is the first. Heather turns around in the opening credits and is like, my nest is almost empty. And this bird is ready to soar. Because her storyline last week was, remember, it's like, I can't wait to get my kid out of my house so I can be fucking up here. No, like, seriously, like, I love that they've made this a storyline where they even make her tagline be about getting her kids. Like, if my parents if I found out they were just so incredibly psyched that I left for college, I mean, it would cause me pause of like, finally the ball and chain is left and I'm ready to be free. And then I think my favorite is our next one, Meredith Marks. Meredith turns around, she has this smile on her face and she goes, while you drop lies, I'm dropping the beats. I'm dropping the beats because she's DJ Meredith Marks. Wiggy, 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 wiggy. Yeah, DJ Meredith Marks on the 1s and 2s. While you drop lies, I'm dropping the beats. So that means we will get a DJ storyline from Meredith Marks this season. And it is, I just can't stress enough. This kind of ridiculousness is what I love and need in my Real Housewives. Do I think Meredith Marks, and please don't pass this along, do I think Meredith Marks is a good DJ? Of course not. Do I think she puts her heart and soul and hours and hours and hours and hours and days and weeks of work? Of course not. But if she wants to make this a storyline, by God, be free, Meredith. Drop that beat. Because remember, we've had multiple storylines from Meredith over the years. We had the podcast. What was that called? Hanging by a Thread with her and her husband, Seth. We're podcasters now, me and my lady. And then they did like 7 or 8 episodes, and the episodes were like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, you didn't really want to get into you didn't really care about the art of podcasting. It's just that you needed a storyline, right? And those things really frustrate me on so many levels when it's podcasting. When it's DJing, have at it, man. If you want a DJ storyline, you can get a DJ storyline. Last year, her storyline was a bat mitzvah. All good. All good. Okay, so that was Meredith. And then Bronwyn. Bronwyn looks great in the opening credits. She looks great. And Bronwyn's like, if my closet had skeletons, at least they'd be well dressed. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, they would be well dressed. And then Angie K. Angie, I think she listens to this show, you guys. Angie K. The beginning of her tagline is, I'm Greek. She goes, I'm Greek. And I shit you not, if you go back and listen to So Bad It's Good, was it last season or the season before, I said Angie's tagline should just be, I'm Greek. Listen, she probably doesn't listen. That's an obvious joke. But I loved when I hit it. She's like, I'm Greek. And the rest are just a tragedy. Right you are, Angie K. Because Greek tragedy, you get it? I'm Greek, and the rest are just a tragedy. Now, this is interesting, because I always try to go the extra mile for you guys. I did do a little research, and I got to tell you, she's right. It does turn out that Angie Katsanevas is Greek. This is the first we're hearing about it, and it shocked me at first, but I just wanted to prepare you guys. I always love when I do that, and by the way, if you've noticed, I haven't done the Greek joke the last couple times. But inevitably, whenever I do the Greek joke, people will write like, oh, are you kidding me? You didn't know she was Greek? Are you kidding me? Yes, we all know she's Greek. And now Whitney's is, roses are redheads. Violets are blue. Don't come for me or I'll fucking slit your throat. No, don't come for me or I'll come for you. But it's not roses are red. It's roses are redheads because Whitney's storyline this season is that she now is a redhead. She's a ginger. She's a ginger. And Lisa calls her out for it at the end of this episode. I love that. It's like Meredith. Big news on the Salt Lake front. Meredith is a DJ and Whitney has changed hair color. News at 11. And then Mary's is very sweet. She's like smiling in her opening. And Mary's like, I'm just here to eat, drink, and be merry. And she does like this little Mary Cosby dance. I want to dance as free as Mary Cosby one day. What I'd never want to do, I never want to dance down the hall at the Jennifer Hudson show. You know how they make the guests dance the hall? It's like that. I have stress nightmares about shit like that, where you have to dance down with a bunch of people watching. Woo! Oh, and act like you're into it. Oh, it's just not good. Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live said that was her tagline or one of her options for her taglines last year, and they didn't use it. And Andy asked for them to use it this year. Little good piece of intel there. And then our last one is Lisa, and Lisa's like, I don't go low. I go the distance. I don't go low. You're a gout dick sucker. And that's it. And remember, on the cast photo, the new cast photo, Angie Katsanevas is smack dab in the middle. Do we agree that she should be in the middle? We have Heather on the right side of Angie, and on the left side of Angie, we have Mary. So that's what we have. So we open with our choral music. Ha, 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 ha. Guys, I know that's so silly and it's probably annoying, but if you do that, I guarantee you're going to laugh. Just do that with me. Ha, 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 ha. And it just makes you smile. Anyways, we see the snow-capped mountains. We see the dark clouds. We see the sign, Welcome to Park City. You really feel like you're like watching a daytime horror film. And we're at Premiere. We're at this restaurant, Premiere Vita Tequila Lounge. Now, Lisa Barlow opened the Premiere Vita Tequila Lounge in 2024. This is a real place. I don't know if it's still open, but we open with Lisa Barlow going, okay, everybody, show me what we've got for everything. And we see John Barlow walking around and staff members walking around. We see Vita Tequila signage, neon signage on the wall, and Lisa's just very busy. She's like, do you think this is too many chairs? And some lady's like, I don't think so. If we're having like 200 people. And Lisa's like, I think if we turn these tables like horizontally, I can be a party planner too, because it feels like party planners just do shit like that. Of like, what if we just removed a chair? Yeah, that's better. like, let's put the napkins this way. So we see Lisa doing these little flourishes. We see like an HBO sign in the background. And we find out more about that in a second. But some guy turns the table horizontally, and she goes, thank you. And then they're in another little section. I just want to keep this super VIP. And so Lisa's like, okay, so for the bar, beautiful. Okay. And they show the bar, and it's like beautiful. It just looks like a bar. Like, what are we talking about here? Let's dim these sconces up here. Let's dim the sconces, everybody. Tin roof sconces. And John Barlow brings her a drink, and he's like, hey, Lisa, take a sip of that one. And she's like, is this with the Añejo Vita Tequila? And Lisa goes, oh my gosh. It's amazing. Please buy this. I need to pay back my lawsuits, please. In a talking head, Lisa goes, after Amy's party, Amy is the socialite. And she's in this episode too, and they just keep putting Amy socialite, and she does pretty much nothing. It feels like she's like a Make-A-Wish Foundation person, where it was like her dying wish was to be on the Housewives, and I just get scared she's footing the bill for a lot of these things, and then they just leave her in the background. Like, Amy's working her way in, but I will say, Amy, don't give up. Angie Katsanevas started this way as well. I mean, remember Angie Harrington? Salt Lake and all Housewives shows are littered with these type of characters. You gotta start somewhere. There is no small parts, just small actors. But Lisa says, after Amy's party, I'm like exhausted with talking about these ridiculous lawsuits with these girls. She tells John after sipping more of the anejo, I just got a coffee bean, babe. And he's like, you got two, actually. And she goes, I'm a big sipper, I guess. I'm like, ooh, get a room, you guys. Is that pervy? In a talking head, Lisa goes, while they're trying to convince themselves that I am like in dire straits and like despair, I'm like moving on. Back in the scene, Lisa has her phone out. She's doing a general meeting. She's like, so the talent we have coming tonight is Steve Carell, Jason Schwartzman, Corey Smith, and Ramsey Youssef. So what this is, you guys, this was for the HBO movie Mountainhead. I believe I read this took place on May 31st, this party in Salt Lake, because the movie premiered up there. In fact, they used one of the richest, like one of the biggest houses in the area in that movie Mountainhead, which I really dug. It's about a bunch of childish billionaires, and it's directed and written by Jesse Armstrong, the guy who created Succession. I loved it. A lot of people hated it, but I thought it was great. So in classic Lisa Barlow fashion, Ramsey Youssef is actually sorry. It's not Ramsey, it's Rami Youssef. In fact, he had an FX comedy series, I believe it was called Rami, that was really great. He's a comedian, he's awesome. But I love that Lisa Barlow's like, Ramsey Youssef. And so basically, I think this was like the little like after party potentially for Mountainhead. Now, with these, you guys, and as Lisa Barlow even further clarified on Watch What Happens Live last night, when she says she's hanging out with Blake Lively and Ben Affleck, I mean, it's not a lie, but it's not the truth either. I believe her company, and this is even a little shady for me as well, because I did a deep dive on Lisa last year, and it was really hard to find a lot about her event services. Like, they didn't have a proper website. They didn't have a lot of things, so I was left really confused. But she throws these kind of like little shindigs in Salt Lake City and, like kind of after parties and things like that. But she said, yeah, I didn't hang out with Ben and Blake, but I threw a party that they were at. So it's not like Steve Carell is having deep conversations with Lisa Barlow, right? Not at all. She's throwing these parties, which is still really cool. Anyways, Lisa in a talking head clarifies, I don't think the other girls in the group understand who I work with, what I do. They always want to diminish it. They always want to act like it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not real. Girl, they all have had jobs at some point. Nobody's trying to act like it's not real, Lisa. Lisa tells one of the staff, like, Audrey, you're going to be helping Steve Carell's table, so make sure the cocaine is flowing. Anyways, the lady's like fanning herself, like nervous. Can I handle Steve Carell's table? And Lisa's like, no spilling on them. Just kidding. In a talking head, she continues the braggadociousness. She goes, I'm doing stuff with Daniel Radcliffe, Usher, Vladimir Putin, Steven Seagal, Dexter Darden, Forrest Whitaker, SpongeBob SquarePants, Adam Duritz, Alf, Shailene Woodley, Forrest Whitaker, and huge people. She tells the group, definitely find out if anyone has a nut allergy. Like, my mouth doesn't like the nuts, but I love the way they taste. Luckily, I didn't go into anaphylactic shock. That was a deep admission by Lisa Barlow. She loves the way nuts taste, but thank God she didn't go into shock. That would be a great storyline of like Lisa Barlow's tagline, I almost killed Steve Carell at a party with my nuts. Anyways, John Barlow picks up on this and he's like, so many jokes that can be said right now about the nuts thing. Pull my finger. But Lisa goes, I know, don't, John. And John's like, I'm not saying a word. Oh my gosh. She says, oh my gosh. She says in a talking head, no one in this group understands that when you're running big businesses and you do really cool things, at some point, you're going to get sued. It's not something I'm afraid of. It's not something I'm worried about. We are lawyered up. We have more than 6. And then they start flashing lawyers, like famous TV lawyers on screen. Like we see Sam Waterston from Law and Order. We see that dude from what that fucking, I don't know. We see Sal from Better Call Saul. We see we see Felicia Rashad from the Cosby Show played a lawyer. We see Reese Witherspoon from a lawyer, like obviously played a lawyer in Legally Blonde, and then a little script comes up on screen. Legal disclaimer: not Lisa's actual lawyers, but we've known about Lisa's whole team of lawyers for years now, ever since the Jen Shah of I'm shaking, I'm physically shaking. We need to get all my lawyers on the phone. And I said this on Monday's episode with Sophie, was that when I was rewatching that season this weekend, it was wait, why do you have so many lawyers? Oh, it's because you have had this many lawsuits. That's no shade to Lisa. It's just oh, of course you know your way around. It doesn't seem like she knows her way fully around the legal system, but it seems like she is well protected. I also think it would be great at some point if we dig deeper and we find out Lisa's like a spy for the CIA. She's like, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you. I don't even actually talk like this. I work for the CIA and I'm saving the world. But she's like, we cross our T's with lawyers and we dot our I's with lawyers. I'm still fabulous and I'm fine. And then she goes, am I sounding too braggy? But it's true. I've done amazing things. I appreciate the humbleness, right? It's Lisa Barlow, salt of the earth. Anyway, she tells the employee, oh my God, Sage, for tonight, especially with the VIPs, I'm going to need you to sleep with Steve Carell. No, she goes, especially with the VIPs, make sure everything's cleared and perfect. What a great, this is somebody that knows their business. Hey, with the VIPs, make sure you pick up after them. Wow. Groundbreaking. That's why she's as big. That's why she does the cool things. I would never think to pick up after these people. She goes, oh my God, could you also please confirm this little luncheon? And then we flash back to Lisa Barlow 2 days earlier, and she's talking to our maybe new friend right? And she's outside looking at the mountains, and she's talking to her. She's like, I love this time of the year in Park City. I think you, me, Mary, Meredith, sorry, this is Amy the socialite. So she says those ladies, she's like, I think we'll all go skeet shooting. And then I have a great little lunch planned after. And I've invited Bronwyn, Angie, Brittany, and Whitney. And Amy goes, oh, wow. So Amy almost had a full line, but then Lisa cuts her off. And she goes, but I don't want them to come shooting with us. And Amy goes, oh, so they'll meet us for lunch. Yeah, they'll meet us for lunch. And Amy goes, well, that's really big of you. It is big of Lisa to let people eat. And Lisa goes, I don't know if it's that big of me. Wait till you see what I have planned for lunch. I love that. Somebody's going to die, Amy. Oh my God. Amy, do you have connections with a Harvey Keitel type character in Pulp Fiction that can help clean up a body? But anyways, Amy's just kind of taking in Lisa. And Amy, I just want to reach out to Amy and go, Amy, you can get on the show in better way. Don't sell your soul like this, Amy. Don't do this. Don't align with Lisa. Throw caution to the wind. Align with Bronwyn. Don't align with Heather. Pick the people you align with. I don't think you're aligning with Lisa. I don't think it's going to pan out well for you overall. This is exactly how Angie did with Jen, and then Jen went against Angie, but now Jen's in jail. So, Amy, you doing this next season, you might have to go up against Lisa, so just be ready. Anyways, Lisa tells Amy, I'm always a target, so it's time to switch it around. And then we flash forward to the Lisa Barlow's club again and goes, that would be great to confirm that lunch. We're ready to go. And then we go back outside where we see the mean streets of Salt Lake City, the hustle and the bustle. And we see Bronwyn and the Todd father, the Todd in a very kind of form-fitting little zip-up sweater. And they're going into this restaurant. I'm the Todd father. I'm going to have some lunch. We're at Matteo Ristorante Italiano. Bronwyn's like, we have a reservation. It might be under Newport or it might be under Bradley. So I guess Bronwyn does not have Todd's last name. That's interesting as well. Todd is like, it better be under Bradley because I'm probably paying for it. I'm the Todd father. So they get seated at the table. And Todd's like, great. This is great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So they sit down and Bronwyn's like, do you want to share this brie with me to start? Or do you want burrata instead? And Todd's like, why don't we get both? Why don't we get both? That's the kind of money I want. I want fucking 2 cheese money. Like, why don't we get the whipped the burrata and the whipped cheese? Like, that's baller, you guys. But I'm also worried because that's going to come out of his Starbucks mug collecting fund, I feel. And then Todd's perusing the menu. He's like, Carpaccio looks good too. Carpaccio looks good too. And then she goes, do you understand why I brought you here, Todd? And he goes, no, I don't. Well, I thought we'd have our own, like, little taste of Italy. Little taste of Italy. Or our dolce, we're having pasta. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, a lot has changed in my house. The Newport Bradley household has totally flipped. The waiter comes up. We've had, just hats off to the waiters and the service industry folks. So far in the first 3 episodes, we've had such amazing, just all stars. In fact, I feel like they're setting us up for some sort of Salt Lake reality competition series with service industry people. We had the guy last week in that Heather Lisa Barlow scene that had eyes like Aaron, the hot honey man from the valley. He was like, oh, can I take your order? Anyways, this guy's like, are we wanting anything to drink besides water this evening? And then Bronwyn goes, I will take a Dr. Pepper. And she makes this face of like, yeah, I will. Ooh, I love a DP. So this is the first moment. She really seems excited about this Dr. Pepper. And Todd's like, I'll just take an iced tea, please. Take an iced tea, please. I'll take an iced tea. In a talking head, she goes, the biggest takeaway from New York was Todd's willingness to see what people were saying about how he speaks to me and acknowledge it. And then we flash to last year's reunion when Todd was on stage with Andy and the rest of them. And he goes, I think clearly I can be gruff. And I've committed myself and to Bronwyn to work on that with her. She says, since then, I think Todd does make a significant effort. And if I'm being totally honest, Todd has probably made more changes than I've made since New York. This Todd, he has a rough exterior, but this guy's a teddy bear. I say this in all sincerity. If I can meet Todd, I feel like I'm tearing up right now. If I can meet Todd at BravoCon, it would mean the world to me. It would mean, guys, that's the goal. We just set a goal. For everybody listening out there, put some energy in the air that Ryan can meet the Todd father. Could you picture that? All of a sudden you open up Instagram, even though I've been kind of shadow banned for something that they won't tell me about. But sometimes you'll see my post. But can you imagine opening Instagram, seeing it, and all of a sudden you see Ryan Bailey, the bad boy of podcasting, with Todd, just the 2 bad boys, and we're just gruffly, just half smiling together, and I'll go, oh, whipped burrata. that would make my BravoCon experience. So please, let's make that happen. Anyway, she tells Todd, so what else is going on? What did you do all day? And Todd's like, just a couple calls. This guy, he's really opening up since last season. Just a couple calls. He did some work. Did some work, yeah. How? I guess I'm supposed to ask, how was your day? How? And they just stare at each other. I just said he was a teddy bear, but I genuinely get scared sometimes with Todd, And this is actually wild. Was not aware about this with Bronwyn. We get into this really intense storyline, and she talks about going to visit her dad, right? And she says, when I go over there and he's having a good day and he chats with me and he's happy, I feel bad leaving my visit with him and leaving him there. And Todd goes, yeah. And he kind of looks to the side. Yeah, I gotcha. And by the way, this seems, like I said, really cold and antiseptic on Todd's part. But I do also want to remind people that we are all built differently and that how we go through life is all very different. Like, what I pick up with Todd is that he's always lived his life certain way, and he's been really successful at it. And somebody like Bronwyn, who is trying to soften all of these edges and stuff. And is that I don't think Todd is just this overall dick at all, even though he can appear to be one, if that makes sense. But she keeps talking. I feel like, why couldn't I manage, Dad at home? Why couldn't I have kept him in a good space at home? But on days when it's hard, it's impossible to navigate him, she tells Todd. And Todd's like, he needs professional help. He needs professional help. Professional care. And that's what you've set up for him, Bronwyn. In a talking head, she says, it's been really intense the last couple months because due to some health challenges, both my parents moved in with me. And we see a picture of her dad and her daughter. And, her dad is an older man. And I was really not aware of this situation. Like, we found out her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend moved in with it. This poor Todd. It's like we bought a zoo. Like, I can't, God damn it, I'm just trying to collect my Starbucks mugs in peace, and I have to deal with all these people. But at the same time, it truly is amazing to, and I got to say, me and Rebecca having our child, we're doing that solely so I can be taken care of when I'm older. I hate to put that pressure on my daughter already, but that, the relief I feel knowing that I could try to make my daughter's life miserable one day is just so comforting at this point. And also, you'll notice I don't do the silly accents when they talk about something very serious. I kind of learned that years ago. So when it's like something so serious, I'll just kind of walk you through it because it's not funny, right? She reveals that her dad has had Alzheimer's for over 10 years and her mom had a brain tumor. And we see a picture of their whole family on the beach, including Todd. And Todd looks very happy in this photo. She says that her mom had emergency surgery and is going to be fine and recover. But she also says her dad needs round-the-clock 24-hour care. So we moved him into memory care. But her mom stayed with her and is maybe staying indefinitely, she says. And she's saying this all with a smile on her face in the talking head, right? In the scene, Bronwyn says, I couldn't have done it without you, Todd. And you saying it was fine for my parents to move in, you've really stepped up financially and you're taking care of stuff for them in the interim while they figure out their house and their logistics. And Todd is just not even looking at her. He just looks so disinterested and bored. But I think this is a Todd defense. I'm like, Todd, when I meet you at BravoCon, we're going to cry together, brother. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to get sensitive with each other. I'm telling you, man. But Bronwyn's like, Todd, look at me. Look at me. And he looks at her. I'm looking at you now, Bronwyn. And Bronwyn's like, I know that's not what you wanted to do. And I know you've changed plans and changed travel and changed your meetings, and it means a lot to me. And he goes, yep, yep, yep. I want to go back to when Todd was trying to win over Bronwyn. Like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing under your skirt, Bronwyn? I want to see romantic Todd. But Bronwyn says, I feel like it's been a year since this year started. Does that make sense? And he goes, yeah, it's been a rough start to the year. You've taken on a lot, Bronwyn. And how was your discussion with Meredith? Like the producers, Todd, move it along. Ask about Meredith. Okay, how was your discussion with Meredith? She's like, it was really good to talk to Meredith. And we flash back to 6 hours earlier where Bronwyn is talking to Meredith and letting Meredith know that her dad has had Alzheimer's for 10 years. And Meredith goes, her. And so we moved him into memory care that's 10 minutes away from here. And I brought my mom back here and she can visit him. She's not driving, but Gwen and I and Gwen's boyfriend is here. She goes, my house, I feel like I'm running a youth hostel. And Meredith goes, it's insane. And she goes, honestly, though, Bronwyn, it's probably good for you because it keeps you busy and having people around. I feel like when I was dealing with my father, she says too much time alone thinking and dwelling about it was not great. Meredith nails it, man. That's the thing. When you're going through intense trauma, the best thing you can do is just sometimes try to put one foot in front of the other and just act like it's not there. Because it's always there. It's a scar. It's a scar that never heals. So you just got to push through, right? Bronwyn goes, yes. And there's nothing you can do to slow it, to stop it. And Meredith goes, it's grueling. It makes me want to DJ, wiki ones and twos, DJ Meredith Marks. Back in this scene, Todd's still looking gruff. And Bronwyn's like, it was nice. Meredith kind of said, we've known each other a long time, but not like a deep dive. You know what I mean? Like, we're not super close, but I think this was something that she can kind of uniquely understand that maybe makes her understand me a little bit more. And Todd's like, well, she sees you in a different light because of what's going on. And Bronwyn's like, yeah, then in the group of girls. He goes, and it's not the friend group with whatever dynamics they can place there. And then Bronwyn's like, well, I talked to Meredith about that too today. And I love Todd. Todd's like, he's on his second iced tea and he's a Splenda man. I'm a Stevia guy myself, but I used to be a Splenda guy. So I respect the Splenda, but I'm going to rip these Splenda and put in my iced tea. But she's telling Todd that Meredith obviously is closest with Lisa. And she says, it was interesting to hear her say she's gone through it before. You know what I mean? People say things in the heat of the moment that's really hard to come back from. I think you know some things that have been said, Todd, that are really going to be hard for me to move on from. And Todd's like, I don't have a gout dick. I just don't. The fact I can't show my face in a Starbucks within 100 miles of here after the gout dick accusations. He goes, I don't know why you bother with her at all, Bronwyn. And she's like, because it bothers me when people don't like me. And he goes, a lot of people don't like you. And then she goes, a lot of people don't like me. And he goes, of course not, Bronwyn. And she goes, like who? And then he goes, well, look at your Facebook stuff. And she goes, I don't use Facebook. But he goes, well, whatever it's called, whatever, the Tinder, the Raya, And she goes, no, people do leave mean comments on my Instagram. And he goes, let it go. Walk away when you see her. But you know, I can't help but overthink it, Todd. I want to fix it. I want to make it right. Why, Bronwyn? Why do you want to fix it? I want to make it easy because then it's easier for everybody else. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. And then he's really getting the Todd father. He's like, all the shit she drove, had said about you, had written about you. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. It's completely unforgivable. How do I get to a place, Todd, of she can loudly dislike me and it doesn't make me crazy? And he goes, I doubt you do. I doubt you do. And she goes, oh, well, that's helpful, Todd. And he gives like a half smile, which is all we're going to get from Todd. But I love him. I love him. So now we're over at Angie's dad's house. Angie's dad, Louis, proud Greek man. And we hear, I think this is like Greek music, like dong, 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 ding, ding, ding. I don't know how to sing Greek music, you guys, but I think it's Greek music. And he's like, hey, gole, gole. I speak in Greek. I don't know what they're saying, but I think it's a greeting of some sort. And how are you doing, Angie? Oh, you come loaded. Oh, my gosh. And she brought him like fruit and a flower. And he goes, oh, boy. Oh, you didn't need to do all this, Angie K. Angie K is such a good daughter, it seems. So he's like, I'm making some Greek coffee for us. Drink every time we say the word Greek. You'll die. So he's making the Greek coffee, and she's like, you make the best Greek coffee in town, Dad. Cheers. And then they speak some more Greek. I think it's cheers. So she lets us know in a talking head. She goes, my dad is my first call in the morning and my last phone call at the end of the night. He is 89 and it's a blessing. This man is 89. You guys, this dude looks so good for 89. Truly, I was like 89. I thought he was like 78 or something like that. 89. He looks great. He looks spry. He can still speak fluent Greek. But Angie's talking about, you're going to start your gardening soon. He's like, oh, yeah. But the middle of May, Angie K. She says, every year, this is one of my favorite things. His flowers come up every year. We see a picture of Electra, her daughter, with her dad in front of the flowers. And she's like, I want to have Electra come help you plant. Remember that when our parents made us go do things with our grandparents? And sometimes you'd be cool with it. Sometimes you'd be like, oh, man, Mom, why are you making me do that? And now you look back and you're like, thank God I did those things, right? But Angie talks about like the tradition. And the dad's like, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. Angie says, every year when the roses come up, that's my reminder that I got another year with my dad. I just still feel like a little girl that needs her dad. And this is the key to Angie K right here. Because remember the relationship she had with her mom and the trauma that she went through with her. And so her dad means so much. And it really is this kind of beautiful thing in a sense. But then her dad's like, yesterday I was cleaning up and I found some old photos I kind of want you to look at. And so Angie's like, yeah, bring him out. He's like, the producers told me they want to have me dig in photos for a scene, so I did. He's like, there's a bunch of them you haven't seen already, Angie K. So he brings out these photo albums. Ah, man, my dad does this too. But he's like, here is some of the pictures. This is when we first came here. That's me right here, the good looking boy right here. And so we see these black and white photos. We see his mom. And it's really cute. This is very family. We see him at 12 years old. And remember those old-timey photos of a certain generation? You just didn't smile, right? You're like, God, everything, like, thank God they didn't have internet service out there, right? But she's like, look how cute you were. He's like, oh, yeah. So they're going through like, this is our whole family. And she's like, yeah, look how serious you guys were. Were the cameras slow or were you just this serious because your life was hard? He's like, no, we were serious because it was a tough life. You know, we didn't have cable. No, he goes, there's nothing to smile about, Angie K. And we see the photo of him and his mom and they just are just stone-faced. But he goes, you know, they lived through war, they lived through hunger, lived through extreme cold. And Angie says, remind me when the soldiers came into your village, how old were you? And he goes, oh, you mean the Germans? And I was like, God, a very special episode of Salt Lake City. But he says he was about 7 years old when the Germans came. And he says the village man put on a resistance, you know. It wasn't a fair fight because the other guys had the advantage, the Germans. And the Germans came into the village and they burnt everyone's house. Like, and Angie's like, did you witness that though at that age? And he was like, yeah, imagine that, you guys. It's 7 years old. Imagine that. And he says there wasn't much stuff to burn because we didn't have anything like furniture and stuff, you know? Thank God I'm not watching this with my parents because they'd be like, look how good you had it. Look how, you know, yeah, we didn't have name brand cereal, but you still had cereal. Angie says my dad was protecting us as kids and didn't want us to hear anything about the hard times. He says we paid our tickets. We came here to America and we see them on the steps down from the airplane. And he's like, somebody asked me, where's your suitcase? Where's your clothes? And I says, I'm wearing them. Angie says the details didn't come out until later. And I'm grateful for that because some of my biggest concerns of the day are I need to get microneedling so it heals up in time for my next event. Meanwhile, my dad's sharing these stories that really put things into perspective for me, right? Isn't it crazy when you think about all the bullshit we're actually concerned with? When you're like, oh my God, every day in some way is some sort of weird blessing. Oh my God, stop it, Ryan. You're being way too positive right now. I'm so sorry, you guys. But she says it's a wake-up call. Okay, I hope, yeah, stop microneedling. But he tells her daughter, you know, my mind is still there all the time. He's talking about in Greece. He says, you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. I say that about Housewives. You can take the Housewives out of the Ryan, but you can't take the Ryan out of the Housewives. Angie says, remember when you and I flew to Greece and you said, I get so excited when I see Crete. And he goes, oh yeah, that's my second home, you know? And she goes, and I was going to your home, but I felt like it was my home too. And now she's like fully crying in front of her dad. We had a scene like this last season with Angie and her dad. Her dad like is like, Angie, next time can we just have a little fun? Why do you always have crying scenes with me? I would like to do something where somebody throws a glass or something, or maybe I hang out with Todd and that creepy pervert Seth Marks, huh? But she said, you know, he tells her, hey, that's your roots. That's your roots. And she says, I just feel so connected to the culture, to the people, to the history, which, you know, this is like the buildup because they do a cast trip to Greece this season. But she says, I want to pass that same love for being Greek down to Electra, and I want her to have the same passion and feelings that I do. Start her on Greek yogurt young, But she says it's influenced me in my life, and I want it to influence her in her life. And he goes, yeah, I would be proud. Yeah, do that. Yeah, haha, love you, love you. And then they kiss and hug, and a very, very beautiful scene. But also, that's it's a stage setup, but they're real feelings, if that makes sense. So we cut out of that, and now we are at Bronwyn's fortress. And Bronwyn calls her mom Muzzy. Like, Muzzy, would you like a drink while I'm getting one? And her mom, Muzzy, is just like, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And so she's, I don't know, doing Sudoku. No, she's doing she's doing some puzzle or something. And guess what? Bronwyn pulls out, this is the second, Bronwyn pulls out 2 Dr. Peppers from the fridge. Are you seeing a pattern? We've had 2 mentions of Dr. Pepper. So what I'm thinking here, go with me, because this happened with Lisa Barlow and Wendy's and Kerastase Thermatique. I'm thinking that we will see Bronwyn be doing a Dr. Pepper commercial at some point this season. Because you don't just have 2, I'm sorry, I know this comes off, I'm a paranoid, conspiracy theorist, and to that point I am, but at the same time, come on, this is Dr. Pepper overkill. You wouldn't be have some kind of fancy bubbly water or something, but she has 2 cans of DP with her. She comes out to her mom, and she's like, I realized as I was carrying these that I was semi-shaking it, so, and her mom's like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And Bronwyn is kind of making awkward small talk, you've never told me if you like these Dr. Peppers. And the mom's like, is it a cold one? And Bronwyn's like, yes, it's cold. I got it out of the fridge, mother. And so they open, it's just really weird. So Bronwyn's like, what's going on? You must be exhausted. And the mom's like, yeah, because I got up too early today. And Bronwyn's like, well, do you feel like you got everything done at the house that you wanted to do while you were there? And the mom goes, nope. And Bronwyn just stares at her. She goes, I still have stuff there. And Bronwyn just shakes her head. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, my mom is going back and forth to Northern California and is kind of sorting through a very epic process of selling and going through my childhood home. And she says, there were some things there, Bronwyn. And I was like, what is she about to say? She goes, that we have not opened in 25 years. And Bronwyn's like what? And she goes, from Daddy's office. And Bronwyn just goes, uh-huh. That was the emotional part, her mom says. And she goes, was going through Daddy's stuff. And she goes, yeah, trying to decide, could I really throw this away when he's not here to say? And the mom is getting a little choked up, but you can tell she's a very strong woman. And Bronwyn's just like, no, I know. And she goes, I know, I don't want you to, and you kind of can't hear what Bronwyn's saying. And Bronwyn says, some of that stuff's been in that house for a long time. And the mom's just shaking her head, yeah. And you can just tell this mom is going through it. And on top of Bronwyn going through it. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, Alzheimer's is terrible. To watch somebody go through. She goes, obviously, I feel sorry for my dad that this is happening. But it's almost harder for the people who know what's going on. I start to feel sorry for myself that I'm losing my dad and I don't know how to deal with this. And it's really intense. And then I realize that's how it feels on me. And I'm just his daughter. My mom is his partner. My mom is his best friend. My mom is his wife. I can't imagine what it feels like for her, Bronwyn says. And that is such a powerful thought. And it is one of those thoughts that I think we will all experience in this lifetime was, dealing with mom and her passing. And it was like, she's my mom. Obviously, that is still hard to this day. But I kept thinking, and I still think, even talking to Dad today for his birthday, it's like they had known each other for, 54 years? They had known each other since they were kids. They were 18 years old. They had known each other. And just the mere the mere thought and the fact of not having them there, somebody that had been there for 54 years of your life. And it is just such an adjustment, right? So we continue on in the scene, and I will say at this moment when I was watching Salt Lake, I was like, wow, this is a really heavy episode of Salt Lake. But then we have the insanity at the end. But Bronwyn tells her mom, she says, I don't feel like daddy remembers adult me. And the mom just immediately goes, no, you're right. No. It was just such a hard thing. The mom says he thinks you are Gwen. He thinks you are your daughter. And so he's really worried, the mom says, that you're not going to finish college. You need to go to school. And Bronwyn says, well, it's almost like he's reliving a version of it with me. Like he was so worried about me and all these things all these years ago. And now Gwen's at that age. And it's like the days that he does know who I am or whatever. And the mom says, well, he thinks it's yesterday. And so that's interesting because remember, Bronwyn got pregnant during college. It was this huge thing for the family. Her mom says, yeah, because he's after she went down to get something, Gwen, from the room. He says, why isn't she in school? And I said, she's graduated high school. And I said, that's Gwen. And he says, that's Gwen? And Bronwyn says, yeah, he always thinks Gwen is teeny tiny. He always thinks Gwen is teeny tiny, little girl. And Bronwyn says, so I know there's like this era of time maybe that he still remembers. And it's not like the time I'm most proud of, she says, for me personally. And the mom just says, yeah. I mean, like, this is the this is the real shit that you sometimes question of like, oh my God, I don't know if I would ever be able to put this on television because it's too real. Like there's something about gout dick sucker and all that stuff where it's so bizarre and ultimately insanely funny to me. But then you get to this stuff and it's so real and you feel like in some ways, are you not selling out your family, but sometimes should this stuff be kept behind closed doors? But at the same time, then it's maybe good because so many people do go through things like this. So we flash back to Bronwyn telling Lisa Barlow about BYU. She tells Lisa, my second year at BYU, I was 18. I found out I was pregnant. This was last season. She says, my dad was the recorder at the temple in Oakland at the Mormon church at the time, which is also not a position you want to be welcoming home your single pregnant child, right? And Lisa goes, it's a lot. Lisa's the comic relief. We go back to this scene and Bronwyn says, I just know he always wanted better out of me. You know what I mean? And the mom goes, oh, you feel like you're not good enough or you're not worthy? And she goes, yeah, I do. And her mom says, he just wants the best for you. And so it's like, okay, beautiful. Bronwyn says, I took a longer route to maybe get where I was going. And you said that, Mom. You said it's been a really long time. You had to really figure out what you wanted to do. And you had to really circle the drain a few times. And then the mom, now it starts getting into some weird territory because Bronwyn's mom goes, but you couldn't have got there without Todd either, you know? And Bronwyn kind of takes that in. And the mom goes, you couldn't get there without a dime. Woo! And Bronwyn goes, I know. I don't love you saying that. Not on camera. And she goes, yeah, that I needed Todd to get me there. And the mom goes, well, you needed Todd to support you. And Bronwyn is not taking this well. In a talking head, Bronwyn said, sadly, this is not the first snide comment my mom has made about me. And she goes, I think I still really need approval from her. I would live for her to adore me and approve of me. So approval is a big thing with Bronwyn. We just had it on the scene with Todd where she says, I want everybody to like me. We talked about a lot of approval issues on her first season. So this is a real interesting key to Bronwyn. But she says, I want her to be proud of me, but I also wish that I didn't want that I didn't need that, right? We go back to the scene. And the mom's just staring. The mom's not uncomfortable at all. She's like, you can film me all you want. And she goes, Bronwyn, I hope you are going to be okay doing this because you're going to go through it with Todd. Damn, girl. Todd's like, God, get out of my fucking house. Don't ever say that about me. I'm going to be fine. I have Splenda iced tea. I'm good. And Bronwyn goes, woof, woof. My gosh, Muzzy, that is dark. And the mom kind of laughs. And Bro was like, holy cow. Okay, you know what? I take a lot of Todd's old comments from other people. The call doesn't need to be coming from inside my own house. It would be great then if her mom was possessed and her mom looks at Bronwyn and was like, gout dick sucker. And Bronwyn's like, what did you say? Nothing, honey. I didn't say nothing. And then we cut to commercial. So we're now at Heather Gay's place, and she's updating her house because she's getting those kids out of there. I would love it if she just starts like putting dog shit in her daughter's room to like hurry up her moving out process. Just putting nails around the carpet area. But she's cleared out this one room where like she kept all the girls' stuff. And she goes, you know, this is going to be my learning annex. I'm going to maybe have a desk. I'm going to have a book. You mean an office, Heather? It's not a learning annex where I can have a little think. And Angie's there. Angie's like, chirps, chirps. But Heather's like, this is where I'm going to write, like, let my room become like a love den. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, I dare you. You're coming off a little too Erica Jane right now, Heather.
Yeah, this is where I fuck. Oh, put it in my butt. Yeah, I'm Erica Jane.
Your love den. I dare you to make that your love den. Heather in a Talking Head says, for probably the past 8 years, I feel like I have operated from my bed. Same girl, same. She says a lot of people would call that clinical depression, but I call it effectiveness. Angie says, what does a love den mean? Right before Angie jumps out of a window. And Heather goes, I don't know. And Angie's like, is there going to be like a TV in the corner and then handcuffs on the wall? Heather in a Talking Head says, I wrote 2 books from my bed. And it feels like I'm reaching a point where that needs to probably change. Don't fix what's not broke. Is that the saying? I feel like I'm a housewife right now. But Heather tells Angie, it feels like a new chapter for me, you know? No more girls in the house. And she starts moving her shoulders up and down. I'm like, calm down. Angie's like, I love that for you. Heather says, my next chapter is exciting. I have a 3rd book deal. Oh, will you talk about being a Mormon? I have a 3rd book deal that I'm really looking forward to. She says. And so they're like testing like certain paints. She says, I have a lot of fun, creative things going on that I used to like have a sense of dread because it meant I was going to have to add one more thing at the pile of already being a mom. But now I'm excited about these things. And like the more projects, the better. What are we talking like pottery? Are we talking color me mind? What kind of creative project? Are we talking improvisation like Heather Dubrow? So she's asking Angie about like the colors. I just don't care. Angie starts telling Heather about her daughter Electra not loving like the clean modern aesthetic that they have at their house. And she says, you know, the other day I was telling Electra that I was working on getting my Greek citizenship. Oh, man, Angie is really taking this really far with the Greek thing. I mean, the guy thought we joked about the Greek thing last season, but my God, who knew we had this in store? But Heather says, I love that. And Angie's like, I had to tell you. Angie's first book is just going to be called I'm Greek. And she goes, I shared with Electra. I thought she would say, oh, cool. But her reaction was not what I expected. And we flash back to a scene with Electra. And Angie says to her daughter, are you excited about me getting my citizenship, Electra? And Electra is like having frozen yogurt. She's like, I don't really care. Electra is the voice of the Bravo audience. I don't really care. And Angie's like, oh, Electra. And then Electra, my God, I love her. She goes, you're really taking this Greek thing really far. Oh, she's the voice of the people, Electra. But Heather goes, what did she say, Angie? And Angie goes, well, she said like, well, Mom, that's like your whole identity, but that's not mine. And I don't know why you make being Greek your whole identity. She's like, it has put your mom on television for the last 3 seasons, so you better respect the Greek. In a Talking Head, she says, being a parent to a teen is like walking the tightrope. Like, she doesn't want me by her side every minute. She doesn't need me by my side. She's becoming independent, and I don't want to smother her. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought we were just going to be best friends our whole life. Heather tells her, it hurts. You have to put your ego on the back burner. What do you mean you have to you're kicking your daughter out, Heather? Angie says the rejection, it is like, it is so hurtful. Like I devoted my whole life to her, she says, and now I'm feeling lost. Oh, man. Now I'm thinking about my daughter being a teenager. It's hurting my, So now Heather goes, so Amy's party, Amy the socialite, and she's talking about the party where Lisa said the gout dick sucker thing. And Heather goes, tell me everything, Angie, because it was so loud. And I was so afraid of just getting caught in the fray of all it. So I just hid. Because when times get tough, Heather hides. And we flash back to Whitney going, Heather, where are you going? I can't do this without you. And Angie in the scene goes, yeah, Heather, you did kind of disappear. And I'm like, where are you? I needed you. We go back to Heather hiding, going, I'm going to go powder my nose because I don't want any part of that. Heather, you in the jungle, baby. You just can't talk tough in a talking head and start shit on one-on-one scenes. You got to participate in group scenes. Angie says, well, but Brittany ran over to Lisa. She sells me out, brings up my comment. We flash back to the comment of Lisa going, what did Angie have to say about me, Brittany? And Brittany goes, Angie compared you to Jen Shah. And Lisa goes, she did not. She did not. She really did. And then in this scene, Heather goes, the comment. Heather goes, we clearly have a friend who is either in financial distress or living a lie or is under attack. Because these lawsuits, Angie. And Angie goes, well, part of me has compassion for Lisa, and then part of me is she's never going to change. She aggrandizes everything. She brags about everything. She misses a girls' trip to go be with Ben Affleck, so she's claiming she's going to be at Ben Affleck's premiere party, and yet she's posting photos, these AI photos of herself, and we see a photo of Lisa. I don't think it's fully AI, but it's a mixture of Facetune and AI. And Heather goes, well, she said a lot of that to me when we were at lunch. She said that she has a very different life than me. That she has a totally rich, fancy life. And Angie's like, oh my God, Opa. We flash back to that scene, Lisa telling Heather, I live a very different life from all of you. I do. And Heather goes, your life is not that different from all of us. It is, Heather. Heather in this scene goes, it hurts my feelings. I said, our lives are not that different. We're sitting at the same restaurant. We're both wearing thigh-high boots. I thought we had a lot more in common. And Angie goes, Heather, you're very successful. And Heather goes, she always does this. She always pulls a level, Well, maybe if you didn't live in her asshole, Heather, you wouldn't why are you complaining about this? You've kissed her. You've made it so easy for her to treat you like dirt. What are you talking about? Heather in a talking head goes, I really value my friendship with Lisa, and I've worked hard to stay in a good place with Lisa. And a part of that is me accepting her how she is and not trying to change. See, this is crazy. This is how life works that I hate. We're always kissing up to somebody that doesn't deserve it, that has not earned it. But we have learned to play nice, and we're just well, get along, go along to get along. And it's come on, man. You are strong yourself. Heather says she's almost impossible to defend at this point. Angie says she throws her grenades. She diminishes what you've done to confuse you, to distract. For me, Heather, I want the truth. And I told her that the other night. Let me in. Let me be your friend. What's really going on? And Heather goes, I know, but I think that Lisa thought you guys had a real friendship. And so that's why she feels this is a real betrayal. And Angie goes, I do too, though. I do too. And Heather goes, I know. And Angie goes, I do too. I know. Cut to commercial. We come back from break and we hear some Western music of doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And we see cowboy boots and it's Lisa Barlow in full cowboy wear. It's I'm in Yellowstone right now. I visited Kimosabi, but she has a rifle. And I'm no, not Lisa Barlow with a rifle. I'm this is going to get bad. And we hear Lisa go, pull. And so she's skeet shooting, you guys. And they pull the skeet, and the skeet goes in the air, and she aiming, and she shoots, and she gets it, you guys. Lisa's a good shot, allegedly. Dismissed. But Lisa sees her work, and she goes, I got it. Oh my God, I hit it. And then we see Mary and Heather, and they're oh my God, Lisa, Heather. Oh my God, Lisa. And we see Amy, the socialite, there as well. And Heather just you hit it. Oh my God. Yay. And Lisa goes, it terrifies me a little bit. I was so worried I was going to knock a tooth out. How does Lisa shoot? in a talking head, they're at this place called Blue Sky. And Lisa goes, Blue Sky is like a refuge for me. So to go skeet shooting, it's something I do with my family. And so now Mary Cosby hits her skeet. Like Mary Cosby's like good at this. Lisa goes, I don't really want everybody here. Like some people are so willing to stab me. In the back, I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem shooting me either. You've gone too far, Lisa. I don't think any of these people would shoot you. I don't think at all. So Lisa goes, so I only invited Amy. Poor Amy's probably paying for all this. I only invited Amy, Meredith, Marks. And Meredith shoots a skeet and hits it as well. And Meredith goes, I'm a natural. And then Mary hits it again and hits it. And then Heather goes up to shoot. Heather doesn't hit hers. And maybe it's because once she gets her daughter out of the house, she'll be able to hit it. But Lisa goes, this is the right group to like let off some steam before I go blow things up at lunch. Yeah. Heather asks Lisa, so what's going on today? Is this like the whole group? And Lisa goes, no, I have some of the girls come in just for lunch. And Heather's like, oh, so this is an elite group. And Lisa is like, yeah, like this is the A team and the D team will be at lunch. And Heather's like, oh, what's going on? I just think when people run their mouths, they should know what they're talking about. And Heather goes, so you're going to clear some stuff up? And Lisa goes, mm-hmm. And Heather goes, that sounds terrifying. I think I'll be on the far side of the table. Yeah, Heather, run away again, Heather. Okay, so we go to the lodge at Blue Sky where they're setting up this meal that never gets eaten. Angie gets out of her chauffeured ride. She walks in. We see Bronwyn's there. Whitney's there. And Angie says, I'm surprised Lisa's hosting a lunch and even inviting any of us. We cut back to Lisa at the gun range and it's like, okay, guys, put down your guns. We have to get to lunch. Angie says, what more could Lisa possibly have to say? I feel like she's already said everything at the last party. Angie asked the lady, wait, by the way, Brittany is there as well. Why didn't Brittany get an invite to the gun range? Because Brittany was the one that like fed Lisa all the information in the first place. So Brittany got left out of the skeet shooting. See, Brittany, that friendship didn't get you anywhere. It didn't get you to the supposedly cool party. But Angie's like, are you surprised we even got invited in the first place? And Bronwyn's like, yeah. Angie goes, so wasting money on buying us lunch for what? Like, there's got to be some reason we're here. Exactly, Angie. It's like Empire Strikes Back when Luke and Leia and Han, they're with Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams, and then they walk in and Darth Vader's there. It's like a trap. They're walking into a trap right now, you guys. And also, Angie should have said she shouldn't be spending money on lunch when she should be paying off those lawsuits. Hey-o! So the A team come in and Lisa's like, hey, what's up? What's up, you guys? And so we're getting awkward hugs from Lisa and Lisa's like, come on in. And so now we walk into the dining area and all of a sudden we're hit with these huge poster boards and there's big red lettering over the poster boards that says dismissed. And if you look closer, these are the lawsuits. And one page says Barlow denies the allegations set forth in paragraph da-da-da, and it's like 30 lines of that, but a big red dismissed over this. Right? And then there's one of dismissed and Lisa Barlow has like her own headshot on it. I mean, this is too much. We need to make a t-shirt of this. This is a great t-shirt, or I need to do my own, like a lawsuit with my face on it saying dismissed. So they're taking in the surroundings and Whitney's like, wow. And Bronwyn's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But she whispers that to Whitney. And Brittany's like looking around. I don't think Brittany realizes. I don't know. Brittany just seems like I don't know. Brittany's just excited to be there, I guess. There's also a huge poster board of John Barlow and Lisa Barlow at a basketball game for some reason. I don't know why she put that up. But Lisa goes, I just want to point this out. Allegations are not facts for some of those that need to know that. And now, it's the little details in the scene. Now Brittany's like smiling. She's like, yeah, wow, yeah. And then Lisa goes, deny, 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 deny. And Bronwyn's like, this is why we were invited. In a talking head, Bronwyn goes, these posters are childish for so many reasons. The main one being these are the kind of posters I made at FedEx Studio when I was in middle school. I joke about this all the time. Anytime a housewife wants to bring receipts to a reunion or on a thing, they have to they have to go to some FedEx counter, some person making probably $9 or $10 an hour. And they're like, what I need to do is print this out, but I want a big red dismissed over it. Can you do that for me, Lisa Barlow? Bronwyn says, this is just laughable to me. Mary is taking all of this in, and Mary's response is, what? What? In a talking head, she goes, well, I'm confused, and I'm going to stay confused, and I will leave confused. Great talking head for Mary Cosby. Mary in the scene goes, what happened to like clarity? Why is this blurred? So she's complaining that it's the clarity of the actual printouts. A copy of a copy of a copy, it gets a little blurry. But Mary, this is not up to Mary's standards. And Mary's like, it's hurting my eyes. It's hurting my eyes. Heather is looking at this going, wow. And the talking head, she says, it's like a science fair, but no one actually did their project. And she goes, I love that she has easels. And then she goes, P.S. I hate science fairs. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Heather. That's great. Heather's it's always it's like fucking somebody trying stand up for the first time. All of Heather's talking heads, you just want to put a laugh track or a crickets thing. Okay. It's supposed to get the laugh, but it never truly does. And Whitney goes, I love seeing Photoshop at work. And Brown was like, the Photoshop is fantastic. This proves nothing, by the way. Whitney in a talking head goes, she took some court document and then put a red stamp on it. And then there's a picture of John and Lisa on, I can't tell if it's a houseboat or a yacht. And we see a picture of them on some ship for some reason. Mary in a talking head goes, why do I want to look at Lisa and John on a yacht? Why? Angie says, I like how it's really far away, so you can't see that was 30 years ago that she was on a yacht. I'm sure she's been on, that was so-so. Whitney goes, then we see her at a jazz game. Huh? Which also, remember 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago when Whitney, that whole storyline about Lisa giving BJs for courtside jazz? So that was is this about the BJ thing with the courtside jazz tickets? And in that initial rumor that Whitney had brought up all those seasons ago about Lisa, was the guy that's suing her, was this the guy she was talking about? I wish they would tie in, because if you go back and watch earlier seasons, I feel like this all ties in. I feel like it's the same guy potentially. But Lisa goes, yeah, that's a cute picture of us. That's me and John front row at the jazz game. And Bronwyn's like, these are actually not courtside seats because there's folding chairs on the court, but nice try. I like Bronwyn's like, I will outrich your ass. And then Lisa goes, hey, Meredith Marks, as a lawyer, I thought you would appreciate this. And Meredith's looking at the poster board like, I do. Yeah, I really do. In a talking head, Meredith goes, in my expert legal opinion, I don't think these posters are what you would normally use as exhibits in the courtroom. That's not true. At the O.J. Simpson trial, they had O.J. from The Naked Gun, next to photos of Ron and Nicole. I'm O.J., yeah, of course not, Meredith. Anytime Meredith has a talking head, I wish there was a sound of wiggy, 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 needle drop, wiggy, 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 DJ Meredith Marks. But Meredith goes, however, they do get the point across. Lisa in the talking head goes, this is litigation by Lisa Barlow. People can sue you for anything. You can look at them the wrong way. They can sue you. Your coffee might be too hot when you go through a drive-thru. Sometimes they think because you have too many Chanel bags. They should have those Chanel bags, so they sue you for those too. You can allege anything. So I figured I'm going to have a little lunch and we're going to talk about the allegations versus facts, which would be great if we actually did fucking talk about the facts. So Heather just keeps kissing her ass up like, wow, I love the decor. What's the theme of our luncheon? And Lisa goes, today is all about me. Of course it is. It's always about Lisa. And Lisa goes, and about the things that people like to discuss about me. On camp day, awful things were said about me, so I decided I would dedicate a lunch where you guys can get complete clarity on accusations, misinformations, and lies. Lisa's loving her performance so far. You can just tell she's so jacked up on herself. Everybody else is like stone face. Like Mary's like, what? And Angie's like, well, so what's all this supposed to prove, though? Like, you invited us here to read this? And Lisa goes, yeah, I did. And Whitney goes, but we've already read it. That's how we know about it in the first place. And Bro's like, yeah, we did read it. And Lisa goes, obviously not very good. You didn't spend the extra $25 to get the dismissals. So that's what it was, a cheap thing. I guess in the court document system, if you pay a little extra, you can find out how the court case turned out. I don't know. And there's a shot of Brittany looking at the menu, just like really excited of like, oh my God, am I going to get free food today? This is so exciting. Whitney goes, what does this clarify, Lisa? What does it clarify? Dismissed, 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 dismissed. And Braun was like, dismissed because you paid them back or dismissed because they were fake? And Lisa's like, no, dismissed because it's none of your fucking business. Oh, well, that explains a lot. Okay, now we're clear. Oh, good. Now we're clear. So Lisa's thinking she's serving, but you can't do all of this and then just not have factual information. It's like when you used to like have a group or a class project and you'd be like, if I gussy it up, if I make it look really nice, but there's actually no content, I still might get a C, right? It might work. We cut to commercial. So we come back from break and there's shots of all the ladies kind of listening and reacting to what Lisa just said. But once again, they have a shot of Meredith. And I'm like, Meredith, I need you to lock in, babe. I need you to wake up and lock in. She must be thinking about like DJ transitions right now. Or she's just like, what's going on? I'm thinking about a bath right now. But Angie goes, okay, Lisa, I'm going to ask some questions that will actually help you, hopefully shut it down, and things that look a little strange. Like people are reading that you had another man's credit card in your wallet. And now Lisa stands up like she's giving a presentation. And Lisa's like, I am happy to walk around and explain things. And Angie goes, shh, 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 shh. Number 2, this man paid your car off. Number 3, that this man paid for your remodel in your home. And Lisa goes, we deny every single thing claimed. Denial is not any sort of explanation. Denial is just a plan of action. It's like you hear that with like government and, like just people that are like so caught up in lies. Deny, deny, deny. We deny every single thing claimed. Steve Carell does as well. And so does Blake Lively and Ben Affleck. And then Angie keeps going. And you owe him $118,000. And Lisa just like a huge amount, like zoinks. And Mary goes, so none of it's true? And Lisa goes, no. Braun went in a talking head, goes, Lisa can Photoshop dismissed on any document she wants. She should photograph dismissed on this ass. No, she goes, but for the one case that is still open, Lisa and her lawyer are only denying the claims. That case is actually not dismissed. Woo, Braun went, don't do that in a talking head. Bring that up at the table. Lisa at the scene goes, I can say without a doubt that it's a fanciful tale. Read my response. Angie goes, so you don't have a credit card that he got you in your name. And then Jen, the new lady, goes, but Ange. That's all she gets to say, but Ange. She goes, I know, but they were technically in business together, and they were business partners. And then Lisa turns to her, this is what they don't get. And then Whitney raises her hand like she's in school. Lisa, pick me, Lisa. Lisa, was that part dismissed? Was that part? And Lisa holds up one of the poster boards. This is all. It's in the process. And Braun was like, you wrote dismissed on it. How is it in the process? And Lisa just pointing things. Denied. Allegations. And Bronwyn's like, your response is you're denying them. Yeah, that's your response. In a talking head, she goes, once again, these words are not interchangeable. The claims are being denied. This one case is not dismissed. Lisa sits down. And then Lisa goes, there's a cocktail on the menu that's called a fanciful tale. And that's exactly how my lawyer described these allegations. So I love that Lisa even went, instead of actually just talking about the allegations and talking about the information and clearing it up, Lisa goes and prints all these poster boards out and also prints out a menu with like specialty drinks, a fanciful tale, because that's what my lawyer said. It's a mixture of vermouth, dry gin, and cherry. But Lisa just goes, does that answer the question? She keeps thinking she served, and she didn't serve anything. Angie in a talking head goes, I don't even understand what she's talking about. And I keep hearing fanciful tale. And we get a shot of the menu, and some of the other drinks are The Distance, vodka, blueberry, fennel, stone pine liquor, something else, and then a drink called Dismissed with Vita Blanco. So she even uses Vita tequila. Vita Blanco, pineapple, agave. How can you not love Lisa? Like, she's ridiculous, but it's like, oh my God, girl. Angie goes, like, she thinks she's a princess in this story and has a happy ending, but it's not a goddamn fairy tale. You're not wearing a princess dress. You're not twirling around bippity boppity boop and then all the cases disappear, because that's what she's trying to make it sound like. We're back in the scene and Lisa goes, I'm not even a little bit worried about anything, so I don't think anybody here should be either. And if it makes you feel good to talk about me behind my back, that's on you. It's not on me. Sticks and stones, you know. Angie says, well, I think it got brought up because you were doing some digging behind Bronwyn's back. I didn't dig behind Bronwyn's back. I didn't. And Bronwyn just shakes her head, and then we flash back to last year's reunion where Lisa goes, I'm friends with Emma Bronwyn, and she said you guys didn't buy the necklace or the hoop earrings. And Bronwyn in this scene goes, it's not just me. You've done it to other people at this table too. And Lisa goes, you're so full of shit. You don't know anything about digging, but we do know you like to dig. I'm shocked that Lisa didn't throw a gold digger comment in there because it was like right there. Bronwyn says, I do know when everybody tells me you've done it to them, Lisa. And then Lisa just keeps going, you like to dig. Lisa can't handle these conversations. And Lisa goes, you're obsessed with talking about me because you got busted lying over jewelry you didn't buy and can't buy. I'm none of your business and you're none of mine. Don't talk to me ever again. And then she looks to the left. And Bronwyn's like, then why do you keep talking about me, Lisa? It's endless the amount of things you say about me. You came into Amy's house. I had to go past Amy's for the fight we had at her house because you were calling me a whore. And Lisa goes, I've never called you a whore. And Bronwyn's like, you said I was a pig. Well, she goes, it's piggish to brag about doing blowjobs. And Bronwyn's like, you said I did it for money. And then Heather goes, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I am so hungry. And Lisa goes, is this how you're like trying to get away from the fact that your husband's a misogynistic asshole? Okay, Lisa, that's where I've had it. You don't talk about the Todd father that way. And then Bronwyn's like, the misogynist at this table is you saying I suck dick for money. That's misogynist. That is female on female bullshit, and you know it. And by the way, you can hear Lisa just keep talking in the background, but the mic is not up. So Lisa just keeps monologuing, but you can't hear everything. Like I said, I would pay Bravo just to hear all of their separate vocal tracks and then just be able to, or Meredith Marks could DJ it for me or something. And then Lisa goes, listen, honey, the only reason you brought this up is because you got busted lying. And Bronwyn's like, I have explained all of this to them. You chose not to come camping, Lisa. And Lisa goes, I was at Ben Affleck and Blake Lively. Blake is going through so much. Have you read what Justin Baldoni is doing? But she goes, yeah, I was at Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick's movie premieres. And Bronwyn just goes, oh, God. It is funny. There's a certain, I don't think Bronwyn's one of these people, but like sometimes like some people just don't give a shit about celebrity. Like, and that's awesome. So when you throw out these things, it doesn't matter. We see Mary just goes, and then Heather goes, none of that stuff matters. Heather, stop. And then Heather goes, what matters is that we were all on a trip. And Bronwyn dropped a lot of facts about Lisa that you were wanting to have a luncheon to what, Lisa? Clarify. So let's talk about it. So Heather trying to help Lisa get out of the hole she dug for herself. Even Heather's like, God, you are making it so hard for me to live in your asshole right now when none of this makes sense. So Lisa, once she goes, clarify, Lisa. And Lisa goes, I did. Dismissed. I'm in a lawsuit right now that has absolutely no merit to it. And Bronwyn goes, I hope it's not true. I hope you clear it up. I don't want this to be the case. And then Lisa goes, I want to make this very, very clear. All of this is true. And she gets up and she grabs the poster board again, like it's some bulletproof vest. All of this is true. These things happen. I did get sued 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll probably get sued in the future. But is there merit to it? No. Can anybody sue for anything? Yes. Do I have money? Yes. And now she starts waving the poster board like it's some dance. Do I have money? Yes. Do I love my business? Yes. Am I proud of what I accomplished? Yes. Do I factor my receivables? Yes. Do the Barlow. Do the Lisa Barlow. I take your poster board, put it in the air, and wave it left and right like you just don't care. Do I factor my receivables? Yes. Do I love my life? Yeah. Do I have shiny hair from Kara's Stoster Mike? Yeah. It's insane. So Whitney is now like plugging her ear holes in a talking head. Whitney goes, Lisa's just completely unhinged. It's crazy. Now we're talking about factoring. I can't even say she's a train that went off the rails, like she's derailed, if you know what I mean, Angie in the scene goes, I thought I was invited to a ladies' luncheon, and I feel like I'm going to be taking a quiz. And Lisa goes, what were you hoping to gain from talking bad about me? What was your objective? And Angie goes, okay, let's clear it up. Will you listen? Why would you do it behind my back? And then Mary goes, the conversation was all of us, Lisa. It wasn't just Angie. And Lee goes, what were you hoping to gain? And Angie goes, well, what are you hoping to gain from all these posters? I'm asking a very simple question, and it might even be a two-parter. This is when somebody doesn't know what they're saying, and that they're talking so fast that they're like, oh my God, well, this actually might be a two-part question. Okay, this is going to be a two-parter. What was your objective in talking badly behind my back? What were you hoping to gain from that? Oh my God, you know what I just thought? There needs to be a remake of My Cousin Vinny, but instead of Vinny, it's My Cousin Lisa. What kind of car was the man driving? I would love to see Lisa Barlow in a remake of My Cousin Vinny. Anyways, Andy goes, number one, I've watched you talk about people's businesses. And Lisa's like, no, you haven't. Angie's like, you have to listen, Lisa. I've watched you talk about people's businesses. Thank you for the story. So Lisa won't let her get a word out. And Angie goes, it's frustrating. And then Lisa goes, you're frustrating. She doesn't. If you listen, she can't do the R's on frustrating. God love her. This is turning into an Angie Greek thing. And I don't know why she now says frustrating every episode, but I love it. I feel like the narcissist in me is like, oh my God, you're doing this for me. It is frustrating, Angie K. And Angie goes, well, you're very frustrating. No one makes me want to get out of my chair more than you. Lisa's taking this all in. Angie's like, you've been one of my closest friends, Lisa, but it's so fucking frustrating because you won't listen. And Lisa goes, you are too. And Lisa brings up her drink and goes, I don't know, you are. Cut to our final commercial of the episode. Back up, and Angie's like, and you talk, and I'm willing to listen. I added onto a comment that was made, and I'm going to just spell it out again, Lisa. And Lisa goes, I'm not the one trying to be Jen Shah. And now I love that Jen Shah is like a deal breaker for all of these ladies. And every lady is calling every other lady in this group Jen Shah at one point. You're Jen Shah. No, you're Jen Shah. And so there's silence. And Angie's like, you think I want to be fucking Jen Shah? And Lisa goes, you look like her. You got the same hame girl, the same. And then this is when Angie loses it. This is my fucking hair, okay? And she stands up. She goes, this is my hair girl from Lunatic Fringe. And then Lisa goes, no, not hair girl. Brow girl, lash girl, nail girl. Looking for a man in finance. Brow girl, lash girl, hair girl. And Angie's like, I've been going to my brow girl for 14 years. Listen, you better listen. I have been going to my brow girl for 14 years because she's the fucking best. And then Mary Cosby goes, she is the best. She is the best. And then Brittany goes, is this the same brow girl? And then we flash back to last season when Angie was talking to her husband going, my brow girl was telling me Jared Osmond, like sending her DMs and wanting her to call him. And we see like the DMs of Jared trying to be flirty. And Angie in the talking head goes, yeah, he's sending DMs with a little tongue out emoji. And then Angie does the tongue out, which I thought was like iconic. She looks like Gene Simmons from Kiss. In this scene, Angie goes, you've used my brows girl. You've tried my brow girl. And Brittany's like, am I the only one that's not tried the brow girl? And Mary keeps going, I love the brow girl. I love the brow girl. She's the best to me. She's the best. And Heather goes, this is totally stupid. And Lisa just keeps going, get to the meat and potatoes. Get to the meat and potatoes. And then all of a sudden, this really awkward waitress pops up and she's just looks scared. I mean, this is right out of Central Casting of just a nervous waitress. She's like, sorry to interrupt. Sorry. Are you guys ready to order? And then Lisa's screaming, you're the one that compared me to Jen Shah. This wouldn't have even come up if you didn't say that. Can I tell you about our specials? If you didn't say that. And Angie goes, you start lying about, and Heather goes, we haven't even ordered yet. I'm hungry. And then Lisa just keeps going, you compared me to Jen Shah. They keep cutting to the poor waitress who looks like she's like, it's my first day. Amy, the Utah socialite, just goes, hey, can we order food? Amy, you in the jungle now, baby. You're not going to get food. Heather in a talking head goes, it seems like if you're going to have a lunch, then we cut to Lisa saying again, get to the meat and potatoes. Stop bringing up food items. It's making everybody hungry. Angie goes, I'm going to respond to your stupid lies, Lisa. And Heather, they cut back to her talking head. There should be food. Womp womp. And then Heather, talking head joke again, going, man cannot survive on poster board alone. Wah, wah. And then we flash to John and Lisa on the poster board at the game. Anyways, now they're ordering finally. Lisa sips her water. And then Whitney goes, can I ask you a question and it'll help clarify a lot? And Lisa goes, ask a question. If you are being accused of asking for $400,000, and we hear about it, we read about it, and we're tagged in it, what are we supposed to think? Good for you, Whitney. Good for you. And then Meredith now wakes up. Whitney, there are a lot of accusations about you out there. It doesn't make them true. Sure what? And then Whitney goes, now you pipe in? Now you pipe in? You were silent camping, Meredith. And Meredith goes, I was not silent. Were you silent or silenced? We flash back to the camping trip where Bronwyn's talking about the 5 lawsuits. And Heather's like, 5 lawsuits against Lisa Barlow. And Meredith just says, let's deal with it with Lisa. Like, we don't need to do this behind your back. We come back to this scene. And Brittany speaks up. What about me? She goes, I was surprised that Meredith didn't speak up more because she's got legal. And then Meredith fully wakes up. That's funny, Brittany. Another lie from you. Brittany goes, I would have been interested in your perspective, Meredith, because you're the only one with a law degree. And I spoke about it, Brittany, legally. Maybe you need to listen. And Brittany goes, you didn't. Was she not like mostly silent? Brittany says to the other ladies. And Meredith keeps going, okay, get out of here. Brittany, I don't want to hear lies anymore. You're full of it. And then Mary pipes up. Mary goes, you did, Meredith. And Meredith's like, yes, I did, Mary. Mary, don't say, yes, I did. You did not. And Meredith's like, I spoke up. Mary just gives, no, you did not. No, you did. I did, Mary. I did. And then Meredith turns to Lisa. They're just looking to create a problem between us. Just ignore them. And Lisa goes, I know you spoke up. I know. I believe you, Meredith. It's completely ridiculous. And then Whitney goes, this doesn't prove anything, Lisa. How are you unwinding your business, Whitney? Oh, damn, dude. Brutal. And Bronwyn's like, don't talk about her business. And Whitney goes, anyways, Bronwyn's like, don't say anything about her business. You are deflecting. And Lisa says it again. How are you unwinding your business? Whitney goes, you don't know anything about my business. You don't know anything about mine. I'm getting out of it, Lisa. Didn't work out for me. So no one put money into your company. No one did a $10,000 buy-in. Because that's what they all did with Lisa's. And Whitney goes, no, Justin and I did everything. No one did anything. Justin and I put the money in ourselves, and I'm paying to get out of it. And Lisa goes, why are there people bitching on TikTok about you, Whitney? And Whitney's like, digger, you're a digger. You're digging in people's business. There she is. Clap, 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 clap. I don't have to dig. You're being so hypocritical, Lisa Barlow. I'm not hypocritical. And Whitney's like, TikTokers and lawsuits are not the same thing. In a talking head, Whitney goes, bitch, there's so many TikToks about you and your new facelift. She goes, I'm not bringing that up. These are legal documents that we're talking about. Coming for me is not going to vindicate you in the court of law, Lisa. Lisa goes, Whitney, you're the last person that needs to be talking right now. How dare you treat her like that, Lisa? And then Whitney takes this in and goes, she's scared. She's scared. And Lisa hears that. I am not scared. Are you fucking kidding me? And Whitney goes, yeah, you're scared of the truth. You're scared of the truth, Lisa Barlow. I'm not scared of the truth. Yeah, you're scared of the truth, so you call us liars. And she goes, of course I'm scared about the truth. You lied about me. You're lying right now, Lisa. This is all a cover-up for the truth. And Lisa's like, there's no cover-up for the truth. This is a judge saying, fucking dismissed. She does that Lisa screaming thing. This is a judge saying, fucking dismissed. It's not a cover-up. You aren't mine, you're fake. Fucking cover-up. I love when Lisa shouts because it gets, like, ineligible. Like, you don't know. And then Whitney starts screaming, why are you going there right now, Lisa? And then Lisa points at her and goes, you're disgusting redneck. And so Whitney hears redneck, like she's calling Whitney a redneck. And then that's really makes Whitney explode. And Lisa goes, you're a liar. And then Whitney flips her the bird. You're a fucking liar. I am done with you. And Lisa goes, you lied about all this shit. I mean, this is just fury flying. And they're just liar. And Whitney's like slamming the table. And Whitney goes, I don't source from Alibaba. And Lisa goes, I've got it on my fucking phone, you liar. And Whitney finally stands up. I'm fighting for Wild Rose Beauty. And as a woman in business, you should fucking care. And Lisa goes, okay, so no one talk about her because she's upset. And Whitney's like furious. I didn't pile on. She didn't stand up for you, pointing to Meredith. Everyone talked about it and I did not pile on. I did not pile on. And then Meredith goes, oh, the liar's lying. I totally stood up for you. You know that, Lisa. And then Whitney throws the napkin at Lisa and starts walking off. And Meredith goes, liars throw things and lie. And then Whitney comes right up to Lisa, goes around the table and goes, I am paying off all my debts. I'm paying my way out of my partnership because I have the money to do it. That's the truth. And Lisa's like, good luck. And Whitney points at the poster boards. I'm not being accused of owing people money. because I'm pain. And Lisa's like, bye, 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 bye. You're a fucking liar. And then Mary just like, she's not like, Mary just like, Whitney, sit down. Whitney, sit down. And Whitney goes, Mary, she's triggering the shit out of me. I love that Mary's like, everybody's like, Mary, it's okay. I've got to leave, Mary. It's too much for me. And Whitney walks out of the room. And then everybody's like, zoinks, zoinks, zoinks. Heather just looks like I'm hungry. And then Lisa just stands back. We see Whitney walk off even further, puts her hands on her head. To be continued, folks. What an episode. No preview for next week, but my God, that was fun, you guys. What an energetic end. I hope you had a good time today. I hope we shared some laughs. Come back on Friday for an OC recap, plus some pop culture stories. We'll hit the Patreon episodes this weekend. If you want to join, patreon.com/so bad it's good. Have the best Thursday ever. I love this show. I love it so much. I hope you love it too. Bye, guys.